In this strategy, students synthesize information from multiple sources. This video segment will show steps 3 through 6 of the strategy, which highlight teacher-directed instruction. The lesson continues with step 7, where students apply what they've learned to synthesize information in their own research reports.
An important part of research is compiling information from multiple sources and figuring out how it all relates together. Doing this usually involves 2 steps: sorting information into logical categories or subtopics, and synthesizing. When you synthesize, you analyze how the information works together, how it relates or conflicts, and combine the information to explain a new point or offer a new insight. This tool shows an example of how you might sort information. At the top, there are some questions you should ask yourself as you synthesize information. If you find conflicting information, these questions can help you figure out the quality of that information. If you find conflicting information on a topic, ask these questions. Are both sides equally strong, or does one side lack sufficient evidence? As you research, it will help you a lot to sort your information into logical categories. This will help you as you plan and write your research report. You're going to want to group your information logically so the reader can follow it easily. With this tool, the writer noticed there were 3 general categories of information regarding the research question, which is about whether eggs are healthy. The categories are yes, no, and somewhere in the middle. These categories make it easy to see conflicting information in the chart. What's some of the conflicting information that you see? Miguel? Okay, I see that you get the idea. Now let's think about the quality of the sources the writer found, especially their credibility and potential bias. How do they fit into the different categories of information? I agree with you. There are a lot of credible sources on both sides, like the Academic Journal of U.S. Nutrition Trends and the American Heart Association. But the Egg Industry Quarterly magazine is probably biased. And Eat Greens and Stuff, John's vegan blog, probably isn't credible. When you come across conflicting information, you have several options for how you're going to handle it in your report. How do you think you might try addressing any conflicting information that you've come across? Right, these are some options for what you might do with conflicting information. You shouldn't just assume that you would get rid of one side. You really need to assess whether the information you found is credible and valid before making a decision. This tool shows how the researcher of the egg information chose to synthesize some of the information from the yes, no, and somewhere in the middle notes in the research report. You'll note that since this is a formal report, the author is now using standard citation style. Let's read the paragraph and then discuss. Another issue that is highly debated by nutritionists is the health benefit of eggs. Okay, you should have seen that the writer didn't throw out some information just because it was conflicting with the other information. The writer included information about how eggs were both healthy because of its protein and vitamin D, but also that they contain cholesterol and that high cholesterol levels have been correlated with heart disease. Ultimately, the writer says the answer is not as simple as avoiding eggs, and instead gives a more nuanced or showing subtle differences conclusion. For instance, The writer points out that it could be healthy to eat egg whites because they don't have cholesterol, and that nutritionists conclude that, like most things, eggs can be eaten in moderation.
A significant part of research involves synthesizing information, which is particularly important when students encounter sources that disagree with one another. Proper synthesis of information can result in a more nuanced argument that may be more likely to convince readers of the claim.